this meeting of the Airport Commission at 4:15 p.m. The first item on the agenda is the acknowledgement of commissioners attending remotely. So commissioners, if you could please unmute and introduce yourselves.
Helen Reilly?
Jeff Schulman.
Connor Daly.
Excellent. Well done. 10 points all around. All right. So next up is the agenda. Do I hear a motion to approve the contents of the agenda as proposed?
So moved?
Is there a second? Thank you. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstentions? Right, we have an agenda. Item 3 is public forum. There's no one in this room. I don't believe there's anyone online. So we'll close down item 3. We move on to item 4, which is the consent agenda. Do I hear a motion to approve the contents of the consent agenda?
So moved.
Is there a second? Thank you for the second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Any opposed? Any abstentions? We'll move on to item 5, which is action items. Item 5.1 is a new concessionaire. I'd be willing to entertain a motion to recommend that the Board of Finance and City Council approve a 10-year lease with Kestrel Coffee Roasters as outlined in our agenda packet. Do we hear a motion to that effect?
So moved.
That was moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you for the second. Discussion to be led by Nick.
Yes, I'll start it and then I'm gonna hand it right over to Jeff. Yesterday we had a very exciting day here at the airport as well as today. Where we, after a pretty extensive RFP and scoring process, selected a brand new concessionaire for our terminal building. So Kestrel Coffee Roasters is going to join us with the approvals through City Council and signing this lease with us to offer their both food and coffee products. So very excited.
Yeah, so we submitted or released the RFP mid last year. We had 3 bids and we went through a scoring process. Marie, Larry, myself, Nick, and we landed with Kestrel. We've had a lot of great conversations and meetings with them. They are a younger couple based out of Vermont. They have 3 locations already, 2 in Burlington and 1 in Tech Park in South Burlington. They're lining up. They've gotten approval for credit, and they're pretty excited to get in here. A little bit about their business. They are very active with the Lake Champlain Chamber and their Burlington Young Professionals. They were the 2019 Best New Small Business awarded by the Chamber, and so a lot of their recommendations and our due diligence. With a lot of contacts there to make sure they were a good fit for us. We're looking at a 10-year lease with a 1 option for an additional 3 years. We've worked pretty closely with them on the financing. The structure is very similar to the way it is with Skinny Pancake right now. We will be helping seed a little bit to get the area with water, sewer, electricity, and Larry's been helping us out pretty closely with that, with Engelberg, as part of the TSA project, in the revamp that we're doing downstairs. So we're able to kind of knock 2 birds out with 1 stone. And with that, I don't know if you have any questions specifically about this, but I'm happy to interject now.
All right, commissioners, any questions for Nick or Jeff?
No.
All right, I just have a pair of questions. So where are they going to be located, and what kinds of offerings will they be providing?
So they're going to have a roughly 20 by 20 space in our consolidated security checkpoint on the 2nd floor, right next to the escalators.
Okay.
So you're going to come up and you're going to smell their coffee. They're going to all different kind of coffee options, tea, smoothies, grab and go options, pastries, which they make right in South Burlington every morning, as well as sandwiches. With the close of Aviation Deli, we challenge them to find a way to also service employees and guests who don't have a ticket and might not be going beyond security. And so we're working through a process with that. Not a full solution, obviously, but it will help give options to our employees.
Okay, right. All right. If there are no other questions, I'm always in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, that carries. That's the only action item we have for today, so we move on to item 6, which is the construction update from Larry.
I really don't have much to add other than what's in there. Project Next is moving forward. All the planning and requirements for the runway rehabilitation and the stormwater improvements out there on the airfield for the summer. We have continuous meetings to make sure we're ready to get going June 1st with that. So I really don't have much more than what's there. Unless anybody has any questions.
All right, Commissioners, anything for Larry? Hearing none, we'll move on to item 7, which is noise data, also from Larry.
Okay, construction on the 68 homes under contract right now are going well through the winter. We were concerned at the beginning, but it seems to be going well. People are happy. We're moving those homes forward. The numbers are in the report on where we're at. Things are gonna speed up a little bit now that they've got a routine down. Also, outreach is taking place. Nick signed a bunch of letters for 84 properties comprising of about 220 units, 142 of which are in Winooski, 19 in Burlington, and 59 in South Burlington. So that's the next move forward.
For outreach.
For outreach. Which will take- Anyway, so other than my report and that, just moving things forward. And so, anyone have any questions?
Thank you, Larry. Commissioners, any questions for Larry on this segment?
Yeah, I have a quick question. Larry, why are you so cool?
Why am I so cool?
It's not something you use very often.
I don't know. What do you mean?
Answer the question.
Why am I so cool?
Because he's a high impact professional, that's why.
Yes,
Larry's-
exactly right.
Well, thank you, Nick. We stay busy in the engineering department of one.
I can tell.
Yeah.
Thanks, Larry.
Yeah, so hopefully soon to be 2 again, though, correct? Yeah. Thanks, Connor.
Okay, thank you, Connor. Thank you, Larry. We'll move on to item 8, which is the financial update from Marie.
Hello, everyone. The financial package that I'm reporting here is through December. That means we are halfway through our year, and I'm happy to report that our revenues and expenditures are very much in line with what we had budgeted and what we were hoping for. Our revenues are doing a little bit better than I'd hoped for. So that's always a good place to be. We have a GAN, a grant anticipation note. We took that out the end of June, and that is for $10 million. We had borrowed just over $1 million on it, and that was on one of our grants called AIP 125. It was for the TIP grant. Well, the FAA has finally closed out that grant. They went through the process. It took quite a while, and they sent us an email, and we were able to draw down and get the final reimbursement under that grant. So we were able to pay off. The big news is we paid off the GAN, the grant anticipation note that we owed for many months. We paid that off in January. So right now we don't owe anything under the grant anticipation note. We have about $9 million of funds that are available if we need to borrow on that related to the grants expenditures. If we're waiting on a reimbursement for any reason, we can use them. Our revenues year to date were $15.7 million. As I said already, they are higher. We have our PFC revenues continue to trail up a little bit. They're at 97% of where we were prior to COVID. We still sort of look at that as a benchmark, but all of the other revenues are really much above where we were prior to COVID hitting. Our expenses are $9.5 million. The largest component of that is higher, is not unexpected, as I've been sort of reporting this each month, is our salary and our benefits. And I'll continue to let you know that, but I have all the detail there. Our cash that we had at the end of December, we had $7.5 million in the airport checking account, and we did not owe the city any money. And for what it's worth, at the end of January, we had about $8 million. So, we're holding pretty steady there. We go up and down as we pay big bills, especially on the next project or some of our residential sound improvement programs. We've been having some construction invoices, so we have been spending money on those. One of the things that we do as part of our cash management process here is we make sure we are inputting, and we collect from the FAA. This week we collected quite a bit of money from the FAA, so it goes out, it comes back in. And the amount of money that was due from the FAA at the end of December was $6.18 million. Over half of that was for grants that we were in process of closing out. And we have been able to close out that biggest one that I just told you with Burlington, the grant anticipation note. That was probably our single biggest, largest receivable, and that is now down from that. So, that's kind of where we're working. Larry and I are working hard to close out these grants. As we get all the information that we need to do that, and work with our partners in the FAA to review that and get that done. So that is where we are at and where we are trending. I will say, and we will like to talk about this at the next meeting, but we did receive the end of January, so last week we did receive the airport audit. So that has come out, and we had a clean audit, no findings at all with the airport. They also review, as part of that audit process, they do a review of our PFC program, our passenger facility program, charges program, and we had no findings with that as well. So I will prepare something and share that audit with everybody, so all of you can see, the financials. I know some of you are really interested in reading it page by page.
Yeah, right.
We'll go over the highlights. We'll go over the highlights and make it, the most important things. And the other, I think next week we have a meeting with our airline partners to review a passenger facility charge application. We are submitting an application to the FAA, which we expect to submit to them in the middle of March, and get approval for that hopefully by the middle to the end of May. So that is those are the big financial pieces that are going on, and I will entertain any and all questions.
Okay, commissioners, anything for Marie?
Marie,
That's okay. Go ahead, Jeff. I'll go after you.
okay, thanks, Robin. Hopefully you can hear me okay. One, congrats on the clean audit. That's awesome. Great job. And the reports are always super informative and helpful, and appreciate the highlights that you give as well. Any disruption or concern about any of the actions happening in Washington as it relates to any of the grants that are so important to the airport?
That's a great question. We are monitoring that. We do not have any disruption as far as our ability to access the reimbursement system with the FAA. So we have not been affected negatively by any of that. And so that's been good. We are just monitoring it. I think there is certainly, I think probably your organization and many organizations that rely on grants are sort of wondering what, if any, things that might change. We are hoping it will not change for what we do. I think airports are pretty important in our industry, and we have the grant in hand. So, I think that the money is forthcoming, but we will continue to monitor it and hope for anyone who has any grants out there or programs for the best.
Yeah, we just to add to that, Marie's aggressively been paying attention to it too, not only to draw down specific cash from the federal government. We've had conversations with our airport district office director, which is the regional director for FAA. Right now they are, quote unquote, business as usual. There's no guidance yet that the FAA has received on any of those executive orders, and they're looking into both legally and procedurally if there is any impact to airports. Our conversation was continue as usual. Obviously, being a bit more cautious than that, we're aggressively drawing that down. And then just to draw or throw the tariffs on top of this as well, that's also another thing that we're monitoring. Of course, the Canadian tariff is paused for that 30 days. That is something that would also concern us too, because there are some fuel suppliers that go down to Albany, which then come to this airport. So we need to monitor that as well. Obviously not a direct impact to us, but it'll have a residual impact to the cost of goods sold here.
Great, thanks for clarifying.
Robin?
Yeah, I had the exact same question. So way to go, Jeff.
There are no other comments. Thank you, Marie, for your presentation. We'll move on to item 9, which is the director's report from Nick.
Awesome. Just gonna share the screen up here. Jesse, could you say you had it up?
Yeah, I do. It's so good.
Oh, yes.
For that slide, yeah, so it's gonna.
All right, I don't know how to get it bigger than this.
What about the left arrow?
No, it goes backwards.
Okay.
That one there.
All right, here we go. Nice. I got past it.
Good job, Jesse.
All right, so lots of new updates for you this month, and really just a summary of our overall last 30+ days. Here's an updated picture of Project Next. If you have come through the airport or seen it recently, there is a ton of work happening on our new terminal project. You can see in the left side of the picture, there's new stairwells being the concrete being poured. There's another stairwell as well as an elevator shaft at the end of the building. There's lots of work with the crane happening. It's hard to see in this picture, but there is a foundation that's on the east side of the building, or the right side of this picture, and just a tremendous amount of utility work, underground work, and preparation to close this in with the actual flooring and connection to the building. So they are moving along. Engelbert has been absolutely outstanding, along with all of their subcontractors out on this field. They are very fast, moving quickly, and really getting things done and adjusting to where we needed to be adjusted, both operationally and within the building confines itself. So really, really happy with the work. Of course, this is just the beginning, lots more to come, but really successful so far. The team and I went down to Montpelier a couple of times over the last couple of weeks. Jesse, Alex, Jeff, and myself were speaking to the House Commerce Committee, as well as the House and Senate Transportation Committees. Just a general update on the airport and the success and progress and everything that's happening out on the airport. It's been a couple of years since we've had some really this direct interaction with many new legislators down there. So it's really, really important to make sure that we're in front of them. We're also putting a little bit of pressure on the state to help the airport where needed. Over the next 5 years, our capital expense program, most all related to the projects that Larry is working on, which are associated with the FAA grants. The state of Vermont is supporting us at 1.8% of our capital program. That's one of the lowest numbers in the country that a state helps the biggest economic driver, possibly in the state, or one of the biggest economic drivers, certainly with transportation. So this is just a really, hello, this is who we are, this is where we're going, this is how aggressive our capital program is to be successful, not just for Burlington, but for the entire region. So very successful, lots of great questions, lots of interaction. And we're not done down there either. Jeff has a lot of great ideas and implementation plans for legislative days out here at the airport. We're going to be doing tours at the beginning of March. We have other folks like Treasurer Mike Pichek and hopefully the Secretary of State joining us for tours in the future. Mike Pichek was just here with us for many hours yesterday, really going through all of our programs. So that connectivity and collaboration with the state is something that we're focused on a lot more on in this coming year. We also have hired our own lobbying firm this year. Usually we tie onto the city of Burlington. This year with collaboration with city and my boss, we're able to use the same lobbyists, but use it more directly associated with airport programs. Just a couple of weeks ago, maybe it wasn't even a couple of weeks ago, a week ago, a week and a half ago, I don't know. It's all blurry. We successfully announced, as we have with you in the past conversations, our level 1 carbon accreditation with the Airport Council International, the Airport Carbon Accreditation Program, ACA. Beta Technologies, this is Blaine Newton, one of their COOs, senior staff at Beta Technologies, was able to join us during a really exciting announcement. We were able to showcase one of our electric vehicles right here inside of the airport for a very short period of time, and really had a pretty cool announcement and great PR on that. And I did send all of our recent PR to the commission, of course, too. We're busy on the road too with our media partners. We've received great articles in Vermont Digger that truly dug into some of our challenges and some really great successes at the airport, specifically associated with air service development. Same with Burlington Free Press, associated with our carbon program. We're on the radio at WDEV down in Middlebury, as well as Waterbury, sorry, as well as WVMT, The Morning Drive with Kurt and Anthony. Jeff and I were on that just a little while ago with an hour of session and a lot of great interaction from the public. We had, I think they said that the phone boards were lighting up like crazy. We had a lot of call-ins on that morning, which was really great. Lots of positive interaction. We also were able to join the Lake Champlain Chamber of Commerce for one of their legislative breakfast series. This one was hosted by Beta Technologies. This again happened just a couple of weeks ago. Lots of attendance at this one. Many state legislators, as well as the lieutenant governor and the treasurer of the state of Vermont, both shown in the pictures here. And some really cool tours that we were able to, again, interact with state legislators and understand it. The reason we're showcasing this to you is this is what we're hosting in March. So we'll remind you all again via email and make sure you all are invited. But this is being hosted by the airport. We're going to be set up in our new terminal, just above security checkpoint, and showcasing our airport and all the collaboration, not just with Beta, but with many of our other partners.
And food will be provided by Kestrel Coffee Roasters, so you have to give them a try.
Speaking of them, obviously we thank you for your recommendation over to Board of Finance and City Council. Yesterday, we just announced this. This was yesterday. You can see the Kestrel Coffee Roasters owners right there, as well as Mike Pichek, our state treasurer, Jeff and myself, and the press release right there. So really exciting, and yeah, really exciting event. This is actually this space. It's hard to tell exactly physically where we're standing right now, but this is actually the space that they're going to be setting up their new shop, which we cannot wait. And then today, this morning, if you haven't seen the news yet, we announced new nonstop service with our Breeze Airways partner. We're now going to Charleston, South Carolina, starting May 30th of this year. We were joined today by the Lake Champlain Chamber, or Hello Burlington, Jeff Lawson, as well as the airport team, to announce another new successful route. In fact, David Nealman is quoted in our press releases this time, David Nealman being the owner of Breeze Airways, on the success of Burlington with their 4 other routes that they're already doing. So this is the 5th route that they're offering out of Burlington. This will be 2 times a week, starting May 30th. I think we had some staff members already purchase tickets today. It was like $200, 2 tickets, round trip. That's pretty dang good. So super excited. We are growing. We are growing. This is going to be updated. Do you think?
For the data,
Yeah.
yeah, if you go back to the, explain the site, just refresh.
Sorry about that, technical difficulties as I continue with our route map. Again, we just announced the new service with Charleston, South Carolina. And this is our route map. We are now the most routes that we've ever had at this airport. And we were that even before Charleston, South Carolina, but now that just adds even more to our portfolio of routes, not just to those leisure destinations all along the East Coast, specifically Florida, but of course, maintaining our collaboration and commitment to the major hubs to make sure that you can connect anywhere. So we're not done yet. We have a lot of work to do. Jeff and I are going to be on the road significantly in the next couple of months, visiting airline headquarters. Just to give you a hint, we're going to be, oh my gosh, you can't see it right now. We're Chicago.
Right there.
Yeah.
No.
Right there. We're gonna be visiting this location, over here in this location. There's a small location over here too, so if you know where those headquarters are, that's where we're gonna be going. As well as some conferences associated with meeting with both incumbent and new airlines to the airport. As I mentioned, upcoming event, we have our upcoming event in March. This is that legislative breakfast. Again, all of you are invited to this legislative tour, and we'll make sure we send those out and get you through the doors. We're going to be using one of our new programs that Dave and his team have been working on a lot, which is our Aero Pass program, to get folks through security, whether you have an airline ticket or not. We're going to be showcasing that at this legislative breakfast series. We haven't quite rolled it out yet, but we're going to showcase how that works right now, so that anybody coming for this legislative tour will be able to go right.
Just to clarify, we're not doing tours at this. The legislative tours are the March 6th and 7th. Is that what you're doing?
Yes.
Legislative breakfast.
I said breakfast,
the legislature.
but we're not doing tours there. If they want to be for the March 6th and 7th on the bus, those are the legislative tours.
For just legislators. Gotcha. But legislators are going to be at the legislative breakfast, which we will be doing tours. Jeff might not know that, but we will. Announcement, of course, on Wednesday. We put this in there because we published this prior to actually being able to announce it to you all, which was just this. Upcoming items, we're gonna have a lot of contracts and leases, and this is a more specific list. Aviatron is one of our partners, been at the airport for a long time. They're actually moving out of the airport. It's a great story, an unfortunate story for the airport, but a great story for Aviatron. They're growing, the space is too small for them. So they actually built a new facility off-site. So this is gonna be vacant. We've already received bids essentially on this building, so we're gonna be coming back to you with a new lease on this building once we finish our negotiations. Aviatron has not moved out yet, so there's still work that we have to do with them, and it's gonna be a pretty seamless transition for us. Larry's actually brought this to you all in the past, our arrestor cable and stormwater improvements. This is associated with Vermont Air National Guard, and getting reimbursements for that. Larry and the team have gone out to bid, we've received contractor bids, so the next step is bringing back the actual contract for the work that's gonna be done. And that'll be in future months. Pratt and Whitney Canada lease, we're also negotiating with Pratt and Whitney and we'll extend that lease. They're an amazing partner with us. And they want to extend it for a long period of time with some improvements that we're gonna be mutually putting into the building with them. We own the building and they want to stay there. Just a reminder, Pratt and Whitney Canada, this is the busiest location in the country that they service their engines for Pratt and Whitney Canada. So really, really exciting and a very, very important tenant for us. And Dave's gonna talk about snow removal equipment.
Sure, so we have, back in 2023, we did a vehicle replacement plan for all the equipment we have here at the airport. And so basically, this procurement is in line with that vehicle replacement plan that was done a couple years ago. Pretty big ticket items coming our way. The first of which is a snow blower. We actually did the bid all the way back in late 2023. So all the bid process went through, the approval process already has been done, and actually replaces a 1999 piece of equipment. So a close to 25-year-old, 26-year-old piece of equipment. That was about $800,000 for that piece of equipment. We also have two what's called MTEs. It's a multitasking equipment. We went out to bid for two of them at the same time. They were about $1.3 million each, and that replaces a 2007 and 2010 pieces of equipment. They're actually the original ones that we procured way back when we started getting the MTEs. The multifunction piece of equipment where it has the plow in the front, has a broom in the middle, and an air blast at the tail end of it. So that's why it's called the MTE, multitasking equipment. So that anticipated arrival date is November 2025. We do have a commitment from them, good faith commitment from them for November 2025, and that was a competitive bid process that was done several months ago, and we plan on bringing that to the airport commission, I believe, next month. So
It might be longer than that because
Yeah.
it's gonna be tied to some lease financing that we're gonna have to get and reimburse through.
with PFCs, right, exactly. The other one is we just closed on a RFP bid process for a bucket loader as well. That's roughly about $560,000, but that actually replaces a piece of equipment that is a 1989 loader. So a lot of older piece of equipment finally being updated. That's about a 90-day lead time for that. So, and that should be, again, once we get that in place with PFCs coming to you. So it's about it. Thanks.
Last thing I have for you is just a quick update from our TSA Federal Security Director. Many of you met him on our last meeting. He was actually supposed to present today. A lot of shifts in the federal government, including his director, the director position. So we pushed his presentation over to March 5th, so that he can go through his protocols. He does extend his apologies because he really was meaning to come to this meeting. But he'll be here no matter what to give an update. And we have some other ideas for other tenant presentations to you all in future meetings. Here's our total number of seats that we are both projecting in for the 2024. Again, this is a great indicator for us on how many projected passengers we're going to be seeing throughout the year of 2025. That blue dash line is those projected seat counts. You can see even early on, we are looking like a very, very strong year once again. I imagine in September and October, we're going to see that blip like we've seen with the green line, which is the 2024 line. Again, the highest numbers that we've ever seen for September and October happened in 2024 for those particular months. So it's looking very, very strong. We're still seeing obviously large planes coming in with a higher number of average seats. We're seeing higher load factors, although not as high as 2023. we are seeing that higher, almost 82% load factor. This is only through October, which is the only available data right now from the Department of Transportation. And as you can see, the total number of seats, which is this bottom number, 933,000 seats scheduled for the year 2025. 850,000 for the calendar year 2024. So we're looking very, very strong. Of course, as you look further and further out, many things change, schedules change with the airlines. This is what we have reported from the Department of Transportation right now with those facts. Jesse and I were actually talking about this particular slide and making sure it makes sense to continue with this one. It's not as clear of a picture, especially when you try to connect it to financial health of the airport. We're showing our 2024 line, which is that green line. This is number of departures out of the airport. So again, it's not as clear of a picture of where this really stands. What I'm going to transition this to is actually weight or pounds that the aircraft are bringing in. That'll be a nice indicator of the transition of smaller regional to larger planes. We still have high numbers though, not as high as 2019 as you can see, but compared to 2019, we're looking at more seats, which indicates, of course, larger planes, less flights. So we'll consider updating this in the future. And then finally, our passenger statistics sheet. We ended our unofficial numbers, ended our calendar year 2024 with just over 680,000 passengers, 21,000 over last year, significantly over the other years, not as high as 2019, certainly not as high as 2008. But with the introduction of new flights coming into the airport, especially in January 24 and beyond, with Breeze and Frontier and Sun Country operating seasonal flights, as well as those airlines picking up their seat capacity through the year. Our projection for 2025, which is that green dashed line, is very high. We're conservatively looking at those projections. This is only 80% load factors throughout the rest of the year. You can see it's higher by a couple of thousand month over month, year over year throughout the year. Again, as you get into the later half of 2025, I would not say those are the definitive numbers because schedules change, but the first half of this year is looking extremely strong for us right now. February break is coming up very, very soon, not just for the United States, not just for Vermont, also Southern Vermont, but also Canada, which is the week after. So we're gonna have very busy end of February, early March, into that time frame. So looking strong and projections looking even stronger. That's all I have for you.
All right, commissioners, anything in this presentation that you'd like to discuss?
I have a couple of questions. Back to remind me where Aviatron is. Is that the one next to Heritage or is it down by BTC?
That's the one next to Heritage near
Okay.
our behind the
big
Heritage.
one.
Yep.
Okay, but it doesn't line up. It's not on the secure side, right?
No, this is not on the airport.
It sits behind.
It's a commercial office building. That's right.
Okay, but we do already have people that are interested in that building?
That's right.
That's good. And we own it?
Say that again.
We own it?
We own the building. Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
And then on the BTC hangar, I understand that things are coming along swimmingly. But what is going to happen with their old building? Because I thought that it was going to be torn down, removed, and now there's rumors on the airport that no, somebody's going to occupy that for a while, other than BTC.
Yeah, we're working with existing tenants that would occupy that site. I still have every intention of demolishing that building over time, which is the alert hangar. But we would work from the northern half of the alert hangar and work our way south and work with existing tenants, right? We don't want unless there's a relocation effort to made with those existing tenants. There are 2 remaining tenants in that building after BTC moves out. And that's our intention, is to make sure they have a place to go. In the meantime, we'll probably sign a midterm lease, or at least a midterm lease extension with existing tenants.
Okay. And then on the TSA conversation, the last couple of times that I flew out in the early morning, it seems like TSA does not open till 4:30. Is that correct?
They open at 4 AM. If they did that day, definitely let us know, because they should not be opening at 4:30.
Okay, so they're supposed to be open at 4 o'clock, which in theory should give anybody departing at 5 enough time to get through, right?
That's right. Right now, especially at 4 AM, the average wait time for the calendar year is 4 minutes. Obviously, that's average, sometimes it's longer. But we've had no issues, no observations, and no reports from the airlines about that.
People
time
missing
frame.
flights. Okay.
Yeah.
One of the early mornings I took was right after Christmas, so it was holiday travel, and the line was like back to the employee parking lot. And I tra-la-la'd through with my TSA freight check, very happy since there was only 3 people in line. But I thought, wow, I hope everybody's getting through and there's not, anybody missing flights because of what time they're opening. Because in theory, the airline could refuse you for not being there a half an hour before and just close the door. So I'm happy to hear that they have not left anybody stranded in the TSA waiting line.
We've received no reports, unless Dave, you want to add anything to that, but we've received no reports on that, yeah.
Okay, good. And I'm sure if the holiday travel of being, way back there is also not the norm. My last comment is to an appreciation by Captain Gillian, not me, who was traveling yesterday early morning when you had ice and snow and slush and a crusty runway, and he said to tell you that BTV Ops rocks.
Awesome, they definitely do, yeah.
And
And the
me-
maintenance team, who both ops and maintenance have had some long, slow, exhausting storms. Not a lot of quantity of snow, but just many days in a row of being here. They definitely deserve that praise, and we'll definitely extend that, Robin. Thank you for sharing.
And we got another weekend of it coming up.
And another one, yeah.
I also wanted to let you know that AOPA, the Airline Owners and Pilots Association, is sending up a safety speaker for the February 19th. He's going to be in our hangar, and he's just he's a vice chair for the NTSB. So absolutely.
Wow.
So I'll send that out to and the public is invited. And my last appreciation is for Jeff. For I saw you on Church Street. Congratulations. So cool.
Thank you, Robin. Commissioners, anything else? All right, we'll close down item 9, move to item 10, which is commissioner items. Any items which commissioners wish to discuss at this time? All right, hearing none, we move to item 11, follow-up items. Are there any items that were discussed today that you would appreciate follow-up on from airport staff? All right, hearing none, I will call for a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
That's moved by Robin. Is there a second? I'll second it. Why
I'll
not?
second it. I'm sorry, I had my mute on.
All right, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you everyone for your time. Appreciate it.
Everybody.
Thank you and apologies for being late. Okay,
That's all right. Made it work. Glad you made it.
good enough. Bye.
Bye, everyone.